What up? Here's the news. Roll intro. Ninth edition!
Oh, that's a new edition. I love it. I love it when something new happens.
And what does normally a new edition bring with it?
Oh, the sadness of burning your entire Codex collection.
So we're going to be taking a look at 9th edition and all of the change-ups and little things that have been revealed so far.
So yes, the preview weekend started with the reveal of this beautiful cinematic trailer announcing 9th edition that depicted the Sisters of Battle violently fighting against Necrons. Some of them new, never seen before Necrons. And of course, aided by the Emperor's Angels of Death themselves, the Space Marines. Also, once again, sporting new loadouts with assault weaponry, some cool tower shields that had a full skeleton on them. Don't know where they got them from. That worries me. That worries me greatly. Which led straight into the reveal itself of 9th edition, and with that also some tantalizing previews of new units coming for the Adeptus Astartes and the Necrons, a faction that hasn't seen any love for nigh on 10 years.
Necrons?
Necrons indeed. New hammer, new crons.
Yeah!
New me. Assault Intercessors. It might be a simple thing of just handing a chainsword to an intercessor, but it is going to rapidly change how Space Marines armies are played now, with the likes of the Blood Angels, who love getting up close and personal, and the Space Wolves now having access to close combat Primaris. That's gonna bring a whole new tactic and a whole new flavour to a lot of people's armies. On top of that, there was some leaks through the potato cameras.
Oh, yes.
Which Games Workshop was very nice to clear up for all of us. So we now have Primaris Bikers.
The Judiciar. He's a guy with a big sword and it's flat on the top, designed for chopping heads off.
And a big old hourglass, because he don't have time for your bull honky. So it looks like with a new edition comes new narrative, so the timelines move forward. The Primaris are no longer quite the greenhorns that they used to be. They're starting to become more and more veterans to the long war that everyone in the galaxy is constantly fighting, and it looks like they can need every help they're going to get, because also new Necrons. They are terrifying now. Even the standard rank and file warriors have a horrifying aesthetic to them, looking like Terminator mixed with George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead.
Cables hanging out the belly.
Oh, it's awful.
Eyes hanging out.
It looks like the Necrons will be getting a full new range, with the warriors getting updated from, also once again, from potato leaks and then cleared up high-res images. We've seen what looks to be a new destroyer, the cool hover tanky guys with bigger weapons.
The Scorpec Lord.
The Scorpec Lord, who looks terrifying. There's some kind. There's all sorts of things. Not a lot has been actually named, and a lot of it is speculation at this point. But one big thing that everyone is talking. Oh, sorry, two big things everyone is talking about is the Silent King himself. He is back in the galaxy, and Lord does he look mad.
Someone who would only return to the galaxy if he needed to.
Yes, narratively speaking, the man left a long time ago to find something, and now he's back. And this is all very frightening in the wake of Psychic Awakening, the big narrative campaign that's been going on for like the past year to 18 months, which is starting to wrap up and is leading us into 9th edition.
Oh, I think we're going to see some new Xenos.
We might see new Xenos. I think it's all to play for. I think with the narrative now shifting forwards with a focus on Xenos factions, we could be looking at a very different warscape in the galaxy now.
Yeah. Catan 2.0!
Maybe. It looks like some kind of horrifying technological death angel with some very Catan elements to it.
Lightning wings!
Lightning wings, silver bodies. Oh, it's frightening stuff.
But it looks adorable, and I can't wait to paint it.
So with a new edition, of course, comes new rules. The big thing about 9th edition that it seems that they're sort of focusing themselves on is that your codexes are still relevant. The move from 7th to 8th basically caused you to cast them into the fire like Vader at his funeral. and
Be gone!
yeah, cast them out. But no, with the exception of the core rulebook, everything from the previous edition, all supplements, the Psychic Awakening books, your codexes, have all been geared towards this new 9th edition. So don't start burning it all yet. Hang on to it, because you'll need it.
Thank you, James Workshop. You're the man.
Speaking of the delightful James Workshop, he did give us a 9 things to be excited about in 9th edition.
Yes.
One of the things being tanks. You got them. We ain't been using them much because they've been getting tar-pitted a lot in the previous edition. But now they can shoot into combat. That's right. Ooh. For all of you who have stayed awake at night terrified of a blob of 60 grots ruining your Land Raider fun times, not anymore. Hellstorms are coming their way at point-blank range. How terrain works is changing slightly, with terrain basically being line-of-sight blockers. So horde armies and more assault-based armies will be getting more of a chance at cover. With that as well, they're releasing some guidelines about how much terrain you should use. Terrains will have different rules themselves, so kind of gone are the days where you can just sort of sit back on a gun line, fire through 3 windows and ping the wing of a Carnifex. You can now actually, feasibly block.
Obscurance is now in effect.
It's good. So don't worry, although the Land Raiders will be mowing down most of your hordes have still got a chance. Orc Boys, Genestealer Cultists, all the like, they'll be using terrain more tactically, so Assault has more of a chance against more shooting-based armies.
Yeah. However, Lawson forgets to mention about hordes, explosive damage.
Ah, yes.
Explosive damage now dealing maximum hits to large hordes, sending shrapnel everywhere and bits of orc, grot, nid into your dinner.
Other things that have changed include command points are now going to work differently. Originally, for those of you who have played the previous edition, there was almost a tax on your list about what you had to take to get those precious command points so you could be effective playing against your opponents. Now it looks like, from what they've said, it's going to be a base rate of command points for both sides. There'll probably be ways to generate more command points, but it looks like command points are now more being focused on the idea of having a pool of them and using them to finesse your army the way you want for things like deep strike, certain units, reserves, and of course the delicious stratagems that come with every army that's already out there. Yes, with the change of command points and how they work, it looks like more suit-based armies will be going the way of the squats, and we won't be seeing them too much in the meta, but this remains to be seen because this is all very this is all speculation at the point about how everything will definitely work in the new core book when 9th edition drops. But at the moment we have a good guideline and a good idea that Games Workshop are trying to focus on the new edition, that it should be the army that you want to play, not the army you have to take, which is a great thing for somebody like myself who tends to shy away from competitive because I prefer more of the narrative side of things, and Mikey who just wants to fill his armies with the largest and most magnificent malicious monsters he can find. It's not just competitive and match play that is getting all the nice new things. There is a new narrative system coming to 9th edition. Crusade! A narrative system that allows you to take a small force and build it narratively over time. The difference being you're not going to need a dedicated play group to do this. It apparently looks like it's going to be working similar to Path to Glory and Age of Sigmar, but in 40k. It's always a good thing.
Delicious. Delicious
indeed. You'll be taking your small force, sending them out on their crusade or their, path of destruction or, their cult stomping, whatever it's going to be. And that force will evolve over time. Maybe your captain takes a grievous wound and now it's going to get rammed in that sarcophagus and you'll be seeing a Redemptor Dreadnought captain wandering around in the next game. As I said, crusades will interact with each other at random times. You may have one decisive battle against somebody, never see them again, or you'll move in and constantly clash heads over a lunchtime hours game against somebody across the floor plate that you hate, but they're the only other person that are playing Warhammer right now. Okay, so that is a pretty good oversight of everything that is happening with the new edition of Warhammer. When is it coming, you ask? I don't quite know. Nobody does at this point. We still have 3 books in the Psychic Awakening series to come, with the whole release schedule being put on hiatus. Games Workshop have what I think, in speculation, are 2 options. Either they start rushing everything out on a speed schedule, maybe like condense everything down. What was going to be 2-3 weeks of releases now going to be condensed down into 1 week of release, which we have seen with a huge release of AdMech models and a new book.
This is true.
And a Start Collecting box. So it remains to be seen how their release schedule is going to go. So my sort of idea is it could anywhere between the next 6 weeks, or we could be looking at Christmas time for the new edition. Only time will tell. Either way, the community site will keep us updated and on our tenterhooks with every little tidbit of information that we can squeeze out of that website.
Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
So, that is the roundup of everything about New Hammer. I have been Lawson from Live and Let's Dice. This has been
Mackie!
Also from Live and Let's Dice. If you want to follow either of us, you can find Mikey over on Twitter and Instagram at...
I am Mikey Barry.
Yes, he is. You can find myself over on Twitter at GDLawman, or over on Instagram at Murder Room Miniatures, where I have been furiously painting up my own Crusade force. Let me know in the comments what you guys have got most just earth-shatteringly hyped for with 9th edition. I am.
He can't contain himself. Look at him.
I can't.
Just look.
There's not a single wall in this house that I've not punched like a Kyle.
Do that one.
Ah!